What I know of Ellie Mannette is he is a man of extraordinary energy. He's the kind of person that when you stand next to him, you are in his aura and you are completely engulfed by it.
As an individual, he is the most dedicated person to the steel band.
I learned from him the beautiful sound. So I'm always after the beautiful sound in pan.
He's the kind of person that it just engulfs you with his presence. He's just a warm, sweet, genuine person, and he just overflows with it.
I work penniless. I work with no money. Hardly could pay rent. Hardly can eat a proper meal and wear clothes because there was no money into it. You know, who's going to buy a drum? You're trying to develop this trash can. Who's going to buy a drum at the time? Nobody buying it. So what are you doing it for? It's one of the most beautiful instruments there is in the world, without any amplification. You know, you haven't got a soundboard, you haven't got acoustic, electric horns, wires hanging all over the place. You just play on the resonance of the instrument. Prior to 1937, I had two things in my life that really drove me to do what I did in my life. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and a tambour bamboo band was coming from St. James into Port of Spain. In playing the bamboo, I saw a moving forest. When I said a moving forest, there were 2,000 to 3,000 people playing this bamboo, and the haunting bamboo, doom, boom, boom, boom. And there were these people singing these mournful lyrics, like in minor keys, they call La Vie. And the bamboo playing, and the bottles and spoons, and it was the most hair-raising thing I saw, the little boy. And I said, God, I want to be in that, but I was too young. And the second thing that I never ever get out of my mind is I climb up in a plum tree, and I look down into a yard where these guys was playing all the trash cans. These guys are beating around in a big circle, and they're singing this beautiful kind of a melody. And the guys fighting stick fight. And they have this red thing around their waist, and their head tie, and their legs all stripped like a pirate, and they're fighting with stick and pow, and they're striking each other. And everybody's breaks, and they're calling, carry, carry, carry. And I'm up in the tree, and I'm looking down like this, and I kind of get so nervous. You could never believe as a youngster how exciting this thing was to me. And one evening, after the band finished all the practice and all the stick fighting, I climbed down off of the tree and I looked at one of the drums. And the drums at the time, they were pushed from the inside up like this. They will take the drum and they'll knock it, boom, boom. And the bottom will come up in a convex. And they will hold the drums under their arm like this with a convex top. And they will take broom handles and they will dent the top like pop, pop, pop. And wherever they dent the top, the soft galvanized, wherever they dent it, there'll be a little sunken area in that convex. And they will try to play in those little areas to get kind of a sound. That was 1937 and 1938, all around there. So I said, okay, I am going to go home and I'm going to try to get one of those cans and I'm going to try the same thing.
Tell me about the early days in Trinidad when you started.
The early days was hell. The early days in Trinidad, I was like, that picture there, I was like 14 years old. And that definitely, the Ellie Mannette is second from right. I'm looking across to the other guy. I kind of lead in the little percussion group that is going, you know, and everything, all day. And the neighborhood was so annoyed about the racket because 20 of us in a pantyhose, keeping noise all 24 hours a day, racket, and police is chasing you around. And every 2 minutes you come back, you start again, and the police will chase you again. And sometimes they'll come into the yard and take the drums away. Around 1939 to 1940, one gentleman from Port of Spain by the name of Simon dent a drum, and he got melody notes coming from one of these convex top. And he got 4 distinct notes like pam, 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 pam. And I heard about it. I was not there, but I heard about Spree Simon playing the melody notes on one of the small pan. And he kept like Mary had a little like something like that. And when I heard about it, I tried to dent my top down to try to get 4 notes, and I just couldn't get it. And I went to a kind of a parang affair down in Caronage where there a bunch of steel bands and people drinking and playing the fool on the beach. And I saw another young man they called Granville with one of the drums playing a 4 note too. So I said, now Spree Simon is playing 4 notes and Granville is playing 4 notes and Ellie Mannette could only get 2 notes. So I decided to sink my drums down. So I sunk my drums down into a basin and put a convex up in 1941. No one can dispute the fact. Ellie Mannette sung the first drum in 1941, but it was not the big barrel, it was the small barrel. Ultimately, around 1945, I came up with one drum with 9 notes, and I called the drum the Barracuda. That was it right there, and I go out and play like this. I used to walk on the street and play like this, have it like this, and I play like that with one hand, marching up the street and play. We went to San Fernando to perform in 1946. They took my drum away in 1945, and I had no drum to play. So I say, I am going to build a big pan. Instead of building the Barracuda over, which is 35 gallon, I'm going to build a 55 gallon. And everybody said, oh, you can't do it, it's too big, it's too heavy. And you better believe, I did it in secret because everybody was denying it could be done and criticizing it. You know, everybody's negative about something when they don't know about it. What you have in mind, somebody's always negative about it. So I went down in the back of the pavilion that's in Trinidad over there. There's a big pavilion where they play cricket and all that kind of stuff. And I went across there in the pavilion every afternoon, and I will bang the drums a little bit on that big old salmon tree. And I got it down with 14 notes.
He would leave work. He was not a full-time pan tuner in Trinidad. He worked at the Eastern Foundry where he was a machinist. So, and I used to look at this man coming, and when he would go on, he would be tuning his pans, you know. And he would be doing it cheerfully.
And I went to Skinner's Park with that drum for the first time. And I had it in, you know what they call it in Trinidad, we call it a crocus bag, brown bag, sugar bag we call it. But in this country they call it, I think they call it a bullocks bag or something like that. So I went up on stage with that drum in a brown bag, a sugar bag. So I always make a joke with people and say that was the first steel band case in the history of cases. When you look at it that realistically, that was the first case in this history of cases, and this brown sugar bag. And so I went up on stage with that drum, and I sit on a chair like this, and I put the drum on one knee, and I play da 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 da, and the drum sound like a big organ, because everybody still came up with a small pan. You know, they're doing their thing with a small pan in this contest. And I played Brahms' lullaby.
When he was finished tuning the pan, he would always want to teach me and other young people how to tune, but we really, not many of us were interested in that, you know, we wanted to play. So I learned, when he was finished tuning the pan, he would play it, and I always look at how he struck the drum, and he got the optimum tone out of it, you know. So I try to, that has served me in good stead.
I wanted to get ahead of more than the other guys because I did the first one. So what I did, I said, okay, I have one we called it ping pong at the time. I have a ping pong, and I want a second pan to go with it. So I built a single second one with about, I think 9 notes on the single, 7 or 9 notes. I can't really remember exactly. I'll be patterned in a book anyway. And then that was 1947, and in 1948 I made one more drum we call a guitar, single guitar. Now we're playing 3. Let it lead a little. Okay, here goes the second. Okay, guitar, here short. People sometimes come and look inside of the drum. I say there is nothing in there, there is no amplification, there is nothing in the drum, there's just empty barrel. But the notes vibrate rapidly, sustain like. You understand? Carry over and you carry over. So that one carries 5 tones on that one surface. 5 tones on that one surface, yeah. So you get wah, 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 you get the partials above coming with tonic. And that is when you play, you see? If you go on a keyboard today, your piano in here, and you play two strings, you will not get all the resonance coming there with no amplification, absolutely no amplification. Go on two marimba notes or two xylophone notes today, right now, and you play two notes there, and you would not get that kind from two notes. It's to show you the unique character of the steel band, especially when it's well done. We're going to start here with the point of contact and slide the hammer towards the middle. Point of contact here and slide it there. And they're going to meet about that point, and they're going to take this note down. So we're going to tap it again, look like. Take it again. Okay, here's our movement I want. In late 1949, the government also began to think about sending a group to Tasford, England, where they had a festival of Britain, I think in 1951. So in early 1950, they started orchestrating an all-star band to go to London. And in 1949, I don't know, it was recommended by Olive Oak and Edric Connor and Beryl McBurney and a lot of different distinguished people from the island. The Ellie Mannette is developing an art form for the nation, a musical instrument. So we should offer him a scholarship. And I don't know how it was orchestrated and who did what, but I was called into the governor's mansion and the botanic garden out there in Trinidad by the Grand Savannah. And Sir Hubert Rand said to me, it was recommended that you should be awarded a scholarship. Do you know any music? I said, no, sir. He said, do you have high school? I said, yes. He said, well, we'll have to send you to London to study music. And because the nation feel that you deserve a scholarship. I said, no, I'm not taking the scholarship. I want to develop the band. At the time, when they offered me the scholarship is when a lot of ideas was in my mind as to how to do this job, how to make it what it is. And if I just felt in my, as a young man, about, what, 20, only 20, 21, 20, I don't know. They said to me, I said to myself, if I go to England to take a scholarship, it might take me 8 years, 6 years, 10 years to get a doctorate or whatever. And I will then abandon all the ideas that I have in my mind. There's no way, we're not having any influence in England about steel drum, and not having the flexibility to get a drum anywhere, to go in some backyard to beat on a steel a trash can. There's no way that I will be able to continue this, what I ventured into. So I will either follow the steel drum and its creativity, or if not, take the scholarship. And I made a choice as a young man. I don't want the scholarship. I want the steel drum. You're not working, the family don't want to see you hardly, and the neighborhood don't want you because you're worthless. You give up a scholarship to beat on trash cans, so therefore they call you a vagabond, they call you a bad John, and they call you a no ambition, and they don't want to see you. So why are you doing this? You understand? And something was driving me to do it. There was some inner sense that was saying, you keep going, you just keep going, you're going to make this work.
If you know the history between the Norells and Ellie Mannette, Jeff's father is the one that brought Ellie Mannette to the States. The Norell family brought Ellie to New York, and Ellie, I believe, lived with them for a time, and Ellie was teaching teaching classes and teaching the art of building, and obviously he taught the family to play. When I got the invitation to come to the country, I went to the Ministry of Culture and Gender Affairs, the Ministry of Culture and Education at the time, and I spoke to some of the people, and I told them I got an invitation to go to the United States, and I would like to have your blessing to go, your flexible freedom, and they really didn't want me to go. So they for that matter, put up all kind of obstacles and red tape that I'll be jeopardizing the culture, and I will not be doing service to the nation and whatnot. All the different bodies of the nation that I went to, from the government ministries or wherever, nobody wanted me to come.
because everybody felt that, no, Ellie Mannette, you should not go to the United States to sell this culture, to spread this culture. It's not good for the art form. But I said I'm going to go anyway. So I made all preparation, and I left. I left in I think it was June. I can't bring the day. I think it was June of 1957, I think. If I really check back, I'd be able to get a date.
They really felt threatened by that information and him leaving and them not having, control over what's going to happen with him moving out. I think that was somewhat short-sighted, and I think sometimes that's just a condition of individuals that may be short-sighted. It's not necessarily everybody who feels that way, or the entire government that feels that way. It's just maybe some people that are in power and maybe had a short-sighted view of things.
When I came to the country, the newspaper wrote me up very ugly. The newspaper, the Trinidad Guardian, some jealous writer, I forget his name, wrote an article saying Ellie Mannette is a Judas. Ellie Mannette went to the United States to sell his birthright for 30 pieces of silver to the government of the United States and its educational, arena. Ellie Mannette is a Judas. He went to sell his birthright for 30 pieces of silver. And I got that information when that was all over the newspaper in Trinidad, and I didn't know about it. And somebody said, Ellie, you hear what's happening in Trinidad, man, with your name? I said, what are you talking about? They say, have your name like mud all over the nation, and you're selling your birthright for 30 pieces of silver. I say, what? So anyway, somebody bought a clipping, a newspaper article to me. And I was sitting there in my home in New York at the time, and I read the article. I said, my God, I can't believe they're saying this about me. And I know just what I'm going to do. So I called a reporter in, and I wrote a very ugly article. And I sent it back to the Trinidad government. And I said it to the newspaper. And I said some really ugly things about how the so-called socialites think, and how the government think, and how, and how they're narrow-minded with how their way of thinking about things and our art form. And furthermore, this is my damn art form, not yours. I created the first one. I created all the system and the pattern. So you have a damn, I said some very ugly things about the nation, and I really cursed them out. So we had a kind of a standoff. I said ugly things, and then they said ugly things about me. So years went by, and when I applied for my permanent residency here, because I was just living like from extension of visa, as a visitor, and then I went to the people and I said, look, I want to get my approval for my residency, legal residency. So it went through the process, and the papers came through, and then you had to leave America to go and come back, to get your appointment. When I got the appointment, I sent a petition to Trinidad. My lawyer sent a petition to Trinidad. I said, Ellie Mannette has some problems with the island of Trinidad, and he would like his papers to be transferred to Canada. Because when I got the finalization of my papers here in Washington, they sent it to Trinidad for me to go for my appointment to come back. And they refused to send the papers to Toronto. I got a letter coming back from Trinidad. Your appointment, your request for transfer of papers was denied, and you have to come to Trinidad for your appointment. So I told the lawyer, I'm not going. So the lawyer said, I'm not above the law, there's nothing I can do about that. He said, and if you don't go for the appointment, I think 10 months pass, you will then become an illegal alien again, So I said, well, let it be, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. And I did not go for the appointment, and because the standoff was there that if I go to Trinidad, they would not let me come back due to the fact that I wrote up all this Judas and this, and due to the fact that I sent such an ugly article home to Trinidad, they would not let me come back.
At that point, when he met me, it was like about almost 20 years that he hadn't gone back, and I really thought it was, you know, sort of. It hadn't been convenient to go back. I didn't really know, and he'd mentioned the story about the sort of standoff with the government, and I, you know, thought, well, how much of a standoff could it be? You know, a government and one individual person, you know, do they really care? But I really didn't appreciate how deep and, you know, how much Ellie felt about the situation and how strongly Trinidad felt, at least those that were in government then.
Ultimately it worked out, and time go by, and it kind of quiet down. So I reapplied for the visa again, because the time was expired, and I got a call from Trinidad, from one of the people in the immigration, and said, Ellie Mannette, your papers will be non-involved on the 10th of August. If you don't come down for the appointment, it will be, you know, void. So I said, well, let it be, I'm not coming, you know. So that went, and years went by, and then ultimately I was living as an illegal alien again in the country. And then some other people started to pick me and say, look, Ellie, get this thing done again, get it done. So I got it done a second time, and I got it done here. I didn't have to go to Trinidad at all. So everything came to right here, and I have my legal residency right here. And then everybody said, look, you're doing such a wonderful job. Why don't you get your American, you know, citizenship? I say, no, I really don't care for the citizenship. I'm fine with my position. I'm from Trinidad, and I might be here for 30 plus years, but I'm a die-hard Trinidadian, and I'm not going to get around that one. And I'm not going to try to disown that at all. This is my room, and all around is awards that I received from people. These are some brand new drums that just came back from the chrome plating, and after they come back, we send them out to the platers looking like this, or maybe like the one on the table. We send it out after we do all the work from this stage. We bring it a little bit more advanced to that stage. You see what I'm saying? We bring it from this to that, and then we send it out to the plater, and it come back from the plater looking like this. And then we gotta start the process to tune them back now, because when it comes from the plater, the song is gone.
Just raising the pitch of the fundamental.
And of course, this is Glenn's room. He's one of the main builders. This young man here, he's not here now, works on the table here. He's the only young man that I've worked with for 50 years that can build the drums as I can build it, all the drums. And this, of course, this Carlin room. And I see Carlin, and she builds and she tunes, and she also has a machine here that she does a tuning with. Right now, it's nothing yet. She is the best builder of all when it comes to one drum. She builds the best. She built for all the professionals like Andy Norrell, Robert Greenidge, Bugsy Sharp, Ray Holman, all the top recording artists of this country. And here in the back here, this room we do most of the heavy work. all the air tool work, all the hoses you see around. All these things work by compressors, and from on top of the roof. From on top of the roof has compressors, where we will kick on the compressors and we'll hook up the air lines and all the gun. After you hook up the line, the different places they'll hook up the line all around the building. And these line goes into the compressor, and then they'll use the guns as a kind of a jackhammer. Instead of long time in Trinidad, you beat with a hammer, bam, 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 you know. Now the airflow comes from on top of the building. It could be working there or here or there, wherever, with these guns, and have a pedal to regulate the airflow. You know, like here, whatever comes from the building, it comes through the pedal like a car pedal. You understand? And you could hit the pedal to any extent, and the air flows in the line, and then you control the air from here, like that. So you could get this plunger going like that. You know, so when the air comes through the building, you do like that, and it goes rapidly, like 1,000 blows a minute, instead of you have to take a hammer and beat the drum down time after time. And then after this is done, we have different heads. We'll put into the gun like these flatter heads goes into the gun, and the gun now with the same kind of a gun. Sometimes these guns, these here, yeah, this will go in here. You understand? Yeah. And you'll plug the air tool in here, and then you'll pass it over the drum like this and smoothen it out. Because right now you could see, after using that dimple, you could see a bunch of dimples in here. You know what I mean when I say dimple? Little, like where the machine hit it, like that. And then these things here now, the guy will level it up, smoothen it up a lot more. And then they will use the same kind of a gun like this, all these different guns here. And they'll put the bit in like that, put the air like that. And the groove lines, long ago we'll cut all the lines by hand. Long ago all these lines were done by hand, you know what I'm saying? Like you see that, you know? If you look at this carefully, you could find it's very erratic. Look, you see like a bunch of like that. Yeah. But this is done by hand. You know, you can see the groove like a little welding, and that's handwork. But now, with the machine that goes so fast, you don't see. I have one in my room. I should show you. I'll show you. It goes so fast that you don't see this anymore. The machine does the job 100%. So all it do is to plug the air and like a revolver, like a trigger, like that, you know. And they'll put it there and do like that, you know what I mean? So it goes so much faster and so much smoother. Instead of you just knock, take pop, 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 day in and day out. You will never be able to do it by hand as fast and as good as that would do it. So all these air tools here, and the guys have a whole bunch of them all over the place. Everybody uses the air tool except me.
You still use your hand?
I still use my hand. And they had to train me out to do it now. That's right, I trained them. Now this morning I was asking them, how do you use these tools? Because I can't even use the tools anymore. So the guys work better than me. When I say practically more, better. Because I know the job, but for me to do it as well, I got to practice a lot. And by practicing, your hand get back into it. But I ain't got no time to practice, so they do the job for me now. So these are the air tools that they use. So these are brand new bottles that just came from, and you see they have nothing in them. They're brand new. And the truck would roll in here, bring 50 or 100 at one time. And that's why I say we don't have to suffer for drum like in Trinidad, pick up any kind of old drum. Everything is brand new drum. And these boots here are from the university, the acoustic boots they call them, where the students will go in and play piano or violin, and not piano or violin, and somebody want to have something inside of a boot and they don't want to be disturbed. These boots, you see, for maximum noises. So you can close that, I'll be a plug for that. And when you're inside there working or doing whatever, they can't hear you from outside. All these are pieces the drum has to be worked on. And this is what they call a little engine room. And they have all the presses and the chop saws and the drilling machines and the whatever, the benders and grinders and whatever in here. They're cutting pipes to make stands and go in the chop saw. These are power tools, you know. And this is more or less the workshop in a nutshell. And when all the kids are in here, you could hear a whole lot of noise going on. Oh yeah, like it hammers out of hell. Like a resonator. Right. And you control it by these things. See this kind of little tube in at the bottom?
Yes.
I control a lot of the song with that.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I haven't seen this on some of the other ones.
Because none of them have it. Because
Yeah.
a special instrument I built. Like I call it a limited edition. I built it for far and few in between. Andy Norrell, one of the professional, really, Ellie, I want a guitar like your best guitar, the limited edition quality. So I said, okay, I'm going to build it totally from scratch. I don't want anybody to touch it. None of my students will build it then. I do the whole thing. Like this year, nobody touched it. I beat it down, I cut it out, I prepare it, I fire it, I do all the tuning. And as a result, for me, mentally, I can hear it as I go, you know. I go to all these colleges and the professors will say, Ellie, you kind of captivate the student that they don't even want to leave to go to class. You know, I sit around and I chat with young people, and I love young people to death. You know, I feel warm with them and I just feel very humble around them. I'm not no big Mr. Nothing. I'm just a pan man.
Actually, when I first met Ellie, he came to Miami University and he was tuning pans. And we were instructed not to speak to him because he will speak for a long time and not get the pans tuned. So we actually all stood in awe just staring through the little portal in the door at Ellie Mannette. And later he gave a lecture, which we all came to, and gave us a pretty concise history of the evolution of the pan. And afterwards, he didn't even know me, but you know, he hugged me and I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
What we used to do was to go on location and build the instruments there, which, you know, I quickly learned that was not the most efficient way of doing this. I said, you know, Ellie, we've got to find, you know, a location where, you know, we can, you can work consistently, you can have all the things that you need. But Ellie was, of course, used to, because he'd been in this country since '67 and was used to, you know, just, you know, traveling with his hammers and all of his tools and arriving at a place where barrels were available and building a band. And it's a wonderful process, but it's not efficient to do it place to place, you know, city to city. And so when we finally in the 90s got the offer to come here, you know, I jumped. I was like, oh, Ellie, yes, we got to go. We got to try to figure out some way of getting you to where you can, you know, be centrally located and teach people that will come to you. I thought a university was the perfect place because, you know, you got a steady flow of young people.
I was doing a workshop at North Carolina University, and he came to the workshop, and he was in the audience, and he came to me at the end of Saturday and said, Mr. Mannette, could you build me 3 drums for my university? So I said, who are you and where are you from? He said, I'm from West Virginia University. I said, okay, well, I can build you the drums, but right now it will take me some time. And I build the drums in Phoenix, and I call the college and I say, I would like to speak to Phil Fine. His instruments are finished, and we are coming to deliver them. So we drove a trailer across country because I was also going to work in Long Island at the time at another school out there. So when I delivered the drums here, I said, can you send me a few students, because I would like to show them how to keep the drums in tune. So a number of students came into the band room, and I said, okay guys, just in case the drums go out of tune, this is what you have to do. And I explained to them in detail. And I was about to walk through the door, and Dr. Wilson called. He was there, and 2 other doctors were standing right around like this when I was explaining to the student. And Dr. Wilson said, Mr. Mannette, these students were so excited about your little demonstration. How would you like to do a semester with us? 1 semester. So I said, well, if it could be arranged, no problem. And that 1 semester, which now is 13, going on 14 years now, the semester becomes a permanent residency at the college. That's what they call artist in residence. I build the instrument on campus, and then I am not a good musician, but I write good music, or I compose good music, and some of the students will help me to score it. So I wrote a song I called My Paradise, and I tried to do a little bit of classical movements into it, and a little jazz, a little bossa nova, a little Latin into one song. Very small, but something that I wanted to hear for the instrument to represent themselves. So here we go with My Paradise, WVU.
Ellie and I started workshops almost since we started working together. We did workshops out in Oregon, on the coast of Oregon. And, you know, of course, it's grown now to, you know, over 70 people as participants. And so, again, it's just really, it becomes that way of people learning about the instrument, learning about the art form, and then the unique opportunity to be able to interact with a creator, interact with a person who was involved at the inception of something.
I look forward to this every year. This is like the mother of all workshops. This is the Mannette Steel Drum Workshop. It's been in this area of the country, Morgantown or West Virginia area. I think this is the 10th or 11th year that we've done this workshop. I've always been just pleased and honored that Ellie invites me to come back and teach every year. It seems to be the largest congregation of steel drummers from North America that come together for 1 week, and we just immerse ourselves into the beautiful instrument, the steel drum. And we learn music, we learn new tunes, we take classes on technique, we teach classes on technique. We share our stories, we share our music, we share our you know, advice to each other, and it's really just a great family type of vibe of lovers of steel drums, you know, people who really want to just get more involved with the instrument.
Once you're in on that bass line, we're playing the bass line 3 times. You're playing that line 3 times, leads. Okay? Here we go. Ready? Let's try it. 1, 2, 4.
of people sometimes don't even realize what is played in the back. It sounds like other instruments, other conventional instruments. So the CD drum and the classical music is what I always want, and I pursue something like that.
I was so pleased when I found out that I was going to have a chance to introduce my friend Ellie Mannette to you as a Hall of Fame inductee. I've known Ellie for about 20 years. I can't tell you how many miles I've put on my trucks and vans, driving to wherever he is so he could tune my pans because no one else would touch them for me. And how many hours I would sit beside him, hour after hour, as he would pound on these drums and they would sound like this. And he'd go, Mark, watch this, hit here, here, boom, boom, and it would sing. You know, and he would tell me the story of working with pans, dreaming the cellos, creating these instruments, and I would be just enthused and excited, go back to my home and, of course, you know, beat the crap out of the pans and then get them out of tune again and go back and listen to all the stories again. It was wonderful. No, but Ellie is an individual that has seen it from high and low. Started as a teenager in Trinidad, creating the first instrument out of a 55-gallon oil barrel, to now that his instruments are now actually displayed in the Smithsonian Institute. His dedication and passion to the art form is, I think, unparalleled. I've never met anybody so young at heart and such a worker. His passion goes to his students now at West Virginia. We started a band in Trinidad called the Oval Boys, which became, after World War II, became the very famous Invaders. He's also created all the instruments that we've become to be second-hand with now, like the double seconds and the double and triple guitars, the tenor basses, the quad duet. All the bands across in the universities and schools are directly attributed to Ellie's passion and dedication. So if you would please help me give him a warm welcome, our PAS Hall of Famer, Mr. Ellie Mannette.
And I always say to people, you don't buy these things, you earn them. I cannot call somebody on the phone and say, could you give me an award? Or could you sell me an award? That don't happen. Mm-hmm. And they will call and say, Mr. Mannette, you know, we have a citation, an award for you at so-and-so event, so-and-so time. And I'll say, for what? They say, for your life's work, you know. And then I'll show up at some point, and from Montreal, from Toronto, from England, from the Percussive Arts, from the Music Educators Conference, from the White House, from the National Endowment for it. Everywhere. I don't even know where some of them came from. From the United Nations, from the Queen of England, from the, you know, the honorary doctorate. The National Endowment came in 1999, and the honorary doctorate was 2000. So after I got a National Endowment, all over Trinidad, the news of everywhere, Ellie Mannette won the highest honor in the United States in the work of art. You know, the National Endowment is the, look at the President Clinton gave me a letter stating just that you have won our nation's highest honor in the work of art, you understand, and we're proud of you. And what Hillary said to me too when she shook my hand, she said, you have brought your distinguished reputation here in our country with your great ability, and you have enhanced our diversity of culture, you know, and we are very proud of you. I got the same letters from the Senate and all those people that told me that. So when Trinidad government heard about the recognition I got from the culture, I mean from the United States government, from my work, they just felt that, well, we have to do something equivalent, you know. I think that, I mean, I look at it that way. So they called me in and gave me the National Endowment, I mean the honorary doctorate, and also the Shakona medal. I got a letter here, University of the West Indies wishes to confer on Ellie Mannette the honorary degree of Doctors of Letters and what. So I said, wow, after 30 plus years they offered me an honorary doctorate. I can't believe it. So I said, I'm not going. I don't care for it. You know, so the students are standing around, and I said, no, let's go. I said, I will not go. The only time I'm going to go to Trinidad is the only way, because I have to take all of you with me, all of you, and plus some teachers from the college. And if the government cannot finance that, I'm not going. So Kathy called it, the Ministry of Culture, and said, Ellie Mannette will come, but he needs the students to come down with him and some of the professors. So they asked how many. So Caddy said it was about 25 to 27. So they said, no, we can't afford that expense, you know. So Caddy said, Ellie, they can't do it. So I said, well, I'm not going. So a couple of weeks went by and the phone rang and the people from the Trinidad called and say, I send the names of all the students to me and who the professors are, send the names down. And they got all the plane tickets for them, and they supply hotel accommodation and meals. They gave me a kind of a limo for myself, and they gave the students a special bus. And it was a grand event. That honorary was a grand event. I'm just a pan man who's going to die just now. And I have done a very significant thing of creating an art form. And if I did take my education, I might be a professor teaching in a college today. It would be not something that I really wanted to do with my life. And I have benefited immensely. I'm one of the few people in the world that have done things like what I have done and suffer and go through the blunt of suffering for what you're trying to accomplish. And you made it work for the benefit of others. You understand? And I have done my part in the art form, and nobody can deny that. And now I'm trying to pass the skills on to young people. But Ellie Mannette is going to fade away and die. And all my great ambition and ability will surely fade. You understand? And no man lives forever. And I could think as much as I can, but I would not have the ability to do it anymore. And that's a natural phenomenon with the human, that they gradually deteriorate. And I'm aware of that. I lose some of my hearing. I mean, as sharp as I was at one time, you will have to speak a little bit louder to me now. So yeah, I began to deteriorate. I am aware of that. My skills are still there. My skills are still there, but I know it's going to fade. So I am trying my very best to pass it on to the young people. So this art form will live and will get better as I go away. I know everything starts from a nutshell and it expands. And today we have a good instrument. It's only so good it is. I don't know, 25 years from now, this might look like trash to what might come up. You know, that is how you have to think as a professional and a person with great ideas. I mean, hey, the car and the radio and the radio didn't born as it is. It like next to nothing. The telephone and the aeroplane, it comes like a little matchbox. However, what we have today is a jet and the spaceship. And the steeldrum started like that. And we ultimately find ourselves here. But 20 years from here, the young people are going to come up and they'll take my ideas and they'll say, you know what? I could make this better. I know that Ellie Mannette didn't see this picture. He has started the process, but this is something that I could do to make this better. And then science is going to come in and technology is going to come in and all this kind of things going to come in. You bear in mind that we are only just 50 years old. The piano and the violin and the bell and the French horn, they took 500 years to develop. They took 500 years to come from where it was to where it is today. And we have only started 50 years ago. So 50 years from now, we don't know, steeldrum might change its form completely. We don't know. But I know for sure that I have left a legacy for young people to follow of high standard, professional thinking, have great ambition,